Train lovers, tech geeks, and Japan adventurers, have I got a place for you. Get ready to explore one of the most incredible railway museums on the planet, the SC Maglev and Railway Park in Nagoya, run by JR Central. Let's go! We really like trains, but we are from Tasmania, Australia, and Tasmania's public transport is... Passenger trains were discontinued in Tasmania in 1978, and whilst freight trains are still in use and there is some historical trains still around, the range of trains in Japan is expansive to say the least. So for people like us, where trains aren't really a thing where we live, the SC Maglev and Railway Park is amazing. So let's go explore. The first area you walk into is the symbolic rolling stock hall, where 3 trains demonstrate the past, present and future of high-speed rail in Japan. The first is the Class C62, a steam locomotive that broke the world speed record in 1954. The middle is the Class 955 experimental Shinkansen that recorded a speed of 443 km an hour in 1996. And finally, the MLX-01-1, a maglev that recorded the speed of 581 km an hour in 2003. Let's move on to the Great Rolling Stock Room. The Great Rolling Stock Room is a train fanatic's paradise, holding over 30 trains and carriages, including a Series 700 class Shinkansen, a Kuha 117, and Dr. Yellow. I love that with a lot of the trains and carriages in this area, you could walk through and sit in the seats. There's a double-decker Shinkansen car that also features the canteen. The menus from the time it was in service are still on display. The current Dr. Yellow on display is one of the previous iterations of Dr. Yellow, a Class 922 T3 that went out of service in 2005. This will make way for the last iteration of Dr. Yellow, which will be on display at the Railway Park from 14th of June. For those who are unaware, Dr. Yellow used to be the diagnostic train that was used by JR Central and JR West, but has now been retired as of the start of this year. As the technology has now been inbuilt into the usual Shinkansen, Dr. Yellow is unfortunately no longer needed. Just outside the rolling stock room, there is a K90, which is such a tiny little train, and a Series N700 Shinkansen where you can sit and eat. It also has a couple of vending machines, which is very cool. Along the left wall of the Great Rolling Stock Room is the Railway System Learning Zone. This area has a great breakdown of the engineering of railways in Japan and how they are built to react to earthquakes and other natural disasters, ensuring that there is minimal disruption post any incidents. There is also a display of the technology used through recent history to ensure the railways are run as smoothly as possible. Some of the displays are interactive, which was great to see a mini demonstration on how some of the features of the Shinkansen railway work. Majority of the signage has English alongside Japanese, but there are sections of the railway park where the signage is Japanese only. We found that this was mostly on the second floor. You can get a free audio guide at the information booth. The entry fee to the SC Maglev and Railway Park is 1,200 yen for adults, 500 yen for school-aged children, and 200 yen for children 3 and over. If you have a child that is obsessed with trains, they will absolutely love the Railway Park. So if you're travelling with children to Nagoya, definitely carve out some time in your itinerary for here. The train driving simulators do have a fee, and they are first come, first serve. The Shinkansen train driving simulator and the conventional train crew simulator cost 500 yen each, and the conventional train driving simulator is 100 yen, and honestly, the area for the simulators was the busiest part of the railway park. I recommend if you want to give the simulators a try, get there very early. To the right of the Great Rolling Stock Room is a diorama called the Great Railway Diorama. This is a scale railway model of 180 to 187 and is themed A Day in the Life of the Railway. The scenery is inspired by the Tokaido Shinkansen and what you see as you travel on it, and it's pretty cool to see some of the things that you see on that actual trip reproduced in a diorama form. If you're into Eki stamps, there are stamps dotted around the museum. We bought the Neko Neko Post stamp book before we travelled to Japan, as we really wanted to collect Eki stamps this trip. However, if you pay 100 yen at the information booth, you can receive a piece of thicker card and recreate the C57 train using stamps. This is possibly my favourite souvenir from our time in Nagoya, and we did a lot of cool things in Nagoya. There is a section of the first floor dedicated to the Maglev, the development of Maglev in Japan, its timeline, and when to expect it potentially running in Japan. There is a simulator that you can go and sit in, which is pretty cool to experience. If you're unaware, JR Central is planning to run a Maglev high-speed link between Tokyo and Osaka. They are hoping for the build to go from Tokyo to Nagoya first and finishing by 2034, with the extension to Osaka hopefully being finished by 2037. The second floor has a room dedicated to the timeline of trains in Japan. One thing you will notice in this museum, and a lot of history-based museums in Japan, is that for the period of, say, 1935 to 1950, they have some very vague information. They do tend to mention that they were bombed and had to rebuild, but not the context as to why. However, they did have some examples of ekibin wrappers from the period that doubled as propaganda. I found this to be particularly interesting as I have a special interest in public messaging and propaganda from that era from all countries that were involved in World War II. Outside of the before mentioned period, the history is quite comprehensive and is well worth the time to walk around and read all the signage. All in all, the SC Maglev and Railway Park is fun for everyone. It is a super enjoyable experience whether you are a train fanatic or if you just enjoy public transport. It is very accessible from Nagoya City. It is very close to Legoland Japan and Sea Life Nagoya. It is definitely worth a couple of hours to learn about the history of trains in Japan. Alright everyone, that brings us to the end of our incredible journey through the SC Maglev and Railway Park in Nagoya. I hope you enjoyed getting a glimpse into the future of high-speed rail and exploring the fascinating history of Japanese railways. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing to the channel, it really helps us out. Thanks so much for watching and I'll catch you in the next video.